Obviously, Donald Trump sweeps the swing states. He wins the popular vote. Lee was furious because she felt that she was lied to by the Harris campaign as the election was ongoing.
In this video, Ana Kasparian reports on former Kamala Harris fundraiser Lindy Lee. Ana Kasparian discusses how Lindy Lee felt that she was lied to by the Harris campaign about her actual chances of winning the election, and then attacked by the Dems once she spoke out about it. With that, let's watch Ana Kasparian make the case as to why people should dump the Democrat Party.
She's out there every single day, effectively litigating the case against convicted felon Trump. Let's not forget that this is a fundamentally weak candidate. This is a guy who's facing 88 criminal charges, 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, and a guilty verdict. And as you mentioned, she's raised $100 million since entering the race as a presidential nominee. It's just phenomenal. And also, I'm a member of her National Finance Committee. I raised $1 million for her in 5 hours. I'm astounded. It's not so much about me, it's about the excitement around her campaign.
The woman that you just heard from was a major bundler for the Democratic Party. She helped raise millions of dollars for Joe Biden. When he dropped out of the race, she helped raise millions of dollars for Kamala Harris. And the woman is Lindy Lee. I'm sure some of you who are super involved in political news, paying close attention to what's happening in the political realm, have seen some of the interviews she's done recently. But she's the former Democratic National Committee official, and she also helped, again, raise a lot of money for Democrats like Biden and Kamala Harris. But now she's jumped ship. She's no longer identifying as a Democrat. She's been furious with Kamala Harris and her campaign. She feels that they lied to her and lied about their internal polling. And she wanted accountability after more than $1.5 billion was spent by the Harris campaign, and she was nowhere near winning the presidential election. Now, she also served as the Mid-Atlantic Regional Chair for the DNC, and she also served on Biden's 2020 Asian American Outreach Team. So, lifelong Democrat until recently, named by Wired magazine as one of the top influencers of the 2024 election. Lee was invited to the DNC last August as an official credentialed influencer and given access to events on TV. She's celebrated.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Biden's vitality, Kamala Harris's political strengths, and condemned Trump's racism and overall toxicity of the MAGA movement. And as she stated in that previous video, she was a key asset to Harris's record-breaking fundraising campaign. Okay, so election happens. Obviously, Donald Trump sweeps the swing states. He wins the popular vote. Lee was furious because she felt that she was lied to by the Harris campaign as the election was ongoing. And so here's what Lee said regarding a call with Harris, or a call that Harris had with donors post-election.
I was speaking and texting with fellow attendees of the call, and we were amazed by how self-congratulatory the tone was. I don't recall, the call was about 20, 30 minutes. I don't recall anyone taking responsibility for the fact that we spent about $2 billion across Super PAC in the campaign and came up so significantly short. We lost 7 swing states.
Self-congratulatory in what types of things were being said?
They praised Harris as a visionary leader. I believe at one moment during the call, she was talking about her Thanksgiving recipe. And I don't say this with any malice or anything. I'm just merely conveying what happened. I think I was stunned to hear that, given just the extent and brutality of the loss. There was no sort of postmortem or an analysis of how we can do better, what sort of lessons were learned. It was really just patting each other on the back, congratulating each other on I'm not sure what, and saying we'll see you for Christmas.
So after she was critical of the Harris campaign and the Democrats overall, she started getting.
Does any of what Lindy Lee just said about that post-election call surprise you? I think after the Kamala Harris loss, there was such a stunning lack of accountability. I guess since I do a lot of these videos, I saw it a lot in the mainstream liberal media. If you recall, like I know I did videos on this topic, everyone was looking for someone to blame. No one looked inward. They kept blaming white women, Latino men. And then, if you remember, Lindy Lee also said in that post-election call that they were self-congratulatory. She said, I don't know about what. Do you remember? I remember Joy Reid specifically, but a lot of mainstream liberal pundits saying she ran a flawless campaign, and there was zero criticism, especially of Kamala Harris, as if she was an amazing candidate. And in my humble opinion, I think she's arguably the worst presidential candidate in the history of presidential politics. What I don't think people like the mainstream liberal news media, and it seems like the Democrats as a whole, what I don't think they're very good at, and I mean this lines up perfectly, is taking accountability and saying, "Hey, I made a mistake. We made a mistake," or "Hey, we thought this would happen, but it didn't. It didn't." Or we employed this strategy, and that probably wasn't the right way to go. I still haven't heard anything like that from the Democrat Party. If anything, they get more into identity politics and, like I said, blame groups of people and like I said, the white women and the Latino men, but also they use it as yet another opportunity to keep the race hustle going, or the that everyone is misogynist and sexist. I know you've heard Kamala Harris would have won if she just wasn't a black woman. No one could just say she was a dolt. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
A lot of backlash, and that backlash included accusations that she's really a Chinese spy, even though she's been a long time bundler for the Democrats. She's also an immigrant from China who came to the United States with her family when she was 4 years old. And here's what she said about the Chinese spy accusations. All I did was tell the truth. The Chinese Communist Party killed my great grandfather, and that's why we left the country. Like, give me an effing break. For someone to say something that hideous, it just shows that the racism of the Democratic Party was there all along. And guess what Republicans did? They welcomed her. They were friendly to her. They love bombed her. And this is what happens every single time. You critique the Democratic Party for good reason, okay? Democrats like rain terror on you because you're not supposed to criticize the party. And then while the Democrats are attacking you, Republicans are like, yes, precious, come to us, come to us.
Now, I've seen this Lindy Lee talk, and of course I'm biased and I like the things that she's saying, but all she's done is tell the truth about what she experienced. And you even heard her in that interview where she said, I'm not telling you all of this to like with any animosity or anything. I'm just telling you what happened on that call when she was talking about the self-congratulations and lack of postmortem or accountability. And you know the things she's saying are true because it falls perfectly in line with what we know about the Democrats. If you don't praise them like everybody else did after the stupid election, or just align with their ridiculous viewpoints, period, they attack you. To suggest this woman was a Chinese spy where she was responsible for raising $1 bajillion between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what was the angle then? Now she decides to say, I don't like Democrats. That was China's plan the whole time. I think it's a vile attack, especially with her background that Anna described. But I also like that she called out the racism of the Democrat Party, because they're the party that accuses everyone and their mother for that. But there is no doubt in my mind a large part of the leadership of that party and influential people within it have latent racism. They think less of people of a different race, and that's why they overcompensate so much by calling other people racist. It's just projection. And I don't know if she's working with the Republicans now, but are you kidding me? What an asset. I mean, if she actually did work for them, I mean, she's been an asset already just by telling the truth and exposing how she was lied to about Kamala's chances of winning. But it sure would be nice to have her on our team. And it can't surprise anyone either that the Republicans are welcoming to her. How many times does this happen? It's not even a question anymore which side is the more welcoming, loving party. It's the Republicans. I'll speak for myself personally. I love when I see someone wake up to the joke that is the Democrat Party. Like I talk about Ana Kasparian all the time. I know she's not going to ever be right wing. She doesn't agree with probably 90% of the things that I do on politics in general. But at least she calls out the BS since she's, kind of woken up to it. Anyway, I was about to say this Lindy Lee is brave, and I'm not taking anything away from her, but I don't even think that's the right word. I think she's just a truth teller. She just told the truth and then got bombarded with attacks from the most unscrupulous group of people on the planet. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
And she did. And now she's Team Trump all the way and like plans to fundraise for him. And I think this is a teachable moment for people who are critics of the Democratic Party, because I've experienced this myself. I'm not going to be a fundraiser for Donald Trump. I'm going to continue criticizing the Democratic Party when they're wrong. And I've registered as an independent. But just because I'm unhappy with the Democrats doesn't mean I suddenly think, wow, Trump is perfect and Republicans are nice to me, so now I'm going to register as a Republican. No, I have serious disagreements with Republicans. And if Lindy Lee was principled in her view, she still has serious issues with the Republican Party too. It's just that she's now been like taken in. And look, I get it. I understand wanting to be accepted, but holding true to your principles, I think, is way more important than being part of a clique or a club. You get what I'm saying?
Anna, right after I was praising you, you almost had a perfect segment there, but you lost me at the end. You don't know what her values and principles are. And maybe she was delusional because, let's face it, the Democrats are liars. And maybe she believed that her principles aligned with their party, and her principles and the Democrat Party's principles were way further apart than she had thought because she'd been lied to by the Democrats, which they're really good at. And then being welcomed by the Republican Party, that's what we do. And by the way, she doesn't have to agree with everything, but maybe there were some things that when she was working for the Democrats, she didn't agree with, but she was like, yeah, this is the better of the two parties, But now that she's seen through all the smoke and mirrors, she's like, wait a second, I was on the wrong side the whole time. I don't know exactly what her motivations are, but one of them is definitely how burned she felt. And I don't think Anna has been burned quite as hard as what it sounds like Lindy Lee has been. They each have their own story, but someone who raised that much money and was that valuable to two different campaigns has been misled for this long. I think it's pretty fair for her to have some animosity. But we want to hear from you. What did you all think about what Lindy Lee had to say? What did you think about Ana Kasparian's commentary on the situation? Let us know. Anyway, as always, we really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.